watching Freedom TV channel, Our Time. I'm Oli Borisov. I'll tell you about the main events of this hour right now. 1,500 attack drones and over 1,200 guided aerial bombs were used by Russia against Ukraine this week. Also, the Russian Federation increased its crude oil sales for additional income due to the weakening of sanctions. This was reported by the president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky. According to him, the profit gives the Kremlin a sense of impunity and the ability to continue the war.
It is necessary for the pressure to continue and for the sanctions to work. Russia's shadow fleet shouldn't feel safe in European or any other waters. Tankers working for the war budget can and must be stopped and blocked, not just let go. I think every leader who makes the appropriate decisions. This brings a worthy peace closer. Volodymyr Zelensky, president of Ukraine, on Telegram.
The Russian Federation attacked the Kyiv region tonight. Police are recording the consequences of the strike. In Brovary, 9 private houses, cars, businesses, and a gas station were damaged. There were no casualties. Services continue to document the consequences of the attack. The Kharkiv region was also under attack by the Russians. 3 people were injured, a woman and 2 men. One of them is the driver of a civilian car that the Russian Federation hit with a drone. All the victims are receiving the necessary help. Law enforcement officers are recording the consequences and documenting war crimes. The strikes were carried out with aerial bombs and drones. Private residential buildings were damaged, and outbuildings and fences were destroyed. The Russians attacked rescuers in Sumy. SES specialists were just working on a call after a strike by the Russian Federation. As they were preparing to return to their unit, a second explosion occurred. The personnel managed to react in time. There are no casualties. At night, the Russian Federation launched 139 attack UAVs of the Shahed, Gerbera, and Almaz types at Ukraine. The drones were launched from several directions at once. The air attack was repelled by aviation, anti-aircraft missile troops, EW and unmanned systems units, and mobile fire groups of Ukrainian defense forces. This was reported by the Armed Forces of Ukraine. According to preliminary data, 127 enemy drones were shot down or suppressed by EW means by the air defense. March 22, 2022 was a turning point in the battles for Kyiv. Ukrainian forces moved to active counteroffensive actions. At that time, the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine confirmed the liberation of several territories in the Kyiv region, which increased pressure on the units of the Russian occupiers. The enemy's logistics in key directions were disrupted, but fierce battles continued. The aggressor intensified the shelling of civilian infrastructure. Ukrainian forces were digging in at their liberated positions. This day became a vital stage in the defense and liberation of the Kyiv region exactly 4 years ago. It's the second day of talks between the Ukrainian and American delegations. The Ukrainian team includes National Security and Defense Council Secretary Rustem Umerov, Presidential Office Head Kirilo Budanov, and his deputy Sergei Kislitsa. Representing the American side are United States Presidential Special Envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. Yesterday, delegates discussed several issues, including preparations for a 3-way meeting with Russia, future security guarantees for Ukraine, and rebuilding the country. According to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, the main thing is to see how ready the Russian side truly is to actually end the war. There are no safe places left in Russia. That's according to Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andrei Sybiha. He says Ukraine will strike the enemy on a much larger scale. The country is expanding its deep strike campaign against legitimate targets inside Russia. Ukraine's capabilities now allow it to hit targets thousands of kilometers away. Ukraine's goal is defense, the minister emphasized.
Ordinary Russians must realize that the war their leadership unleashed against Ukraine is returning to where it started, to their own country. This is only fair. The strikes will only get bigger. The longer Moscow refuses to stop this senseless aggression, which they have no chance of winning, the worse it will be for them. The scale of the attacks, their intensity, and their impact continue to grow. These are our own Ukrainian sanctions against the Russian war machine. We have no intention of easing them. Andriy Sybiha, Ukraine's foreign minister, on social media platform X.
138 combat clashes were recorded over the past 24 hours. That's according to the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. In the Pokrovsk sector, Russians attacked Ukrainian positions 28 times, in Kostiantynivka 17 times, and in the Holyai sector, the enemy launched 11 assaults. In the Slovyansk and Alexandrivka bridgeheads, the Russian army tried to advance 6 times each. Russia is preparing to throw residents of temporarily occupied Crimea into battle against Ukraine on a massive scale. Starting April 1st, mobilized Crimeans will be used in direct assaults. This was reported by Southern Defense Forces spokesperson Vladislav Voloshin. Russia is also forming a new unit and moving reserves to the southern front.
Work is currently underway to completely replace the personnel of the 810th Separate Marine Brigade. This is the Sevastopol Brigade of the Black Sea Fleet. Some are deployed in the Kursk sector, while others are part of the Crimea Operational Tactical Group. It included their reserve regiment and several separate battalions. Russia promised that Crimeans wouldn't fight, but now they're being forced to take part in combat operations. Vladislav Voloshin, spokesperson for the Defense Forces of Southern Ukraine, in a comment to Interfax Ukraine.
The situation remains tense in the Kharkiv direction. Russian troops are carrying out a regrouping. Attempts to prepare for new offensive actions have been noted. This was reported by the spokesperson for the Joint Forces Group, Viktor Tregobov, on the United News Marathon. The military is recording enemy activity on the front line. This refers to efforts to restore offensive capabilities. The enemy hasn't stopped trying to advance. Despite recent losses, Ukrainian forces continue to control the situation and hold back enemy attacks. United States President Donald Trump has given Iran 48 hours to open the Strait of Hormuz. Otherwise, strikes on energy facilities will follow. Tehran, meanwhile, is threatening to retaliate. Iran's targets will be the energy, information technology, and desalination infrastructure of the United States in the region.
If Iran does not fully open the Strait of Hormuz without threat within 48 hours from this moment, the United States will launch a military strike and destroy their numerous different power plants, starting with the largest one. Their leadership is liquidated, their fleet and aviation are destroyed, they have no defense left, and they already want to negotiate. But I don't. We're moving faster than planned and are several weeks ahead of schedule. Donald Trump, President of the United States, on the social network Truth Social.
More than 100 people were injured in the cities of Dimona and Arad in southern Israel as a result of Iranian strikes. Tehran attacked with ballistic missiles. It's reported that the target was a nuclear facility. Residential neighborhoods were damaged. As the Times of Israel notes, the IDF command has launched an investigation into the reasons for the failure to intercept 2 Iranian missiles. According to military estimates, the missiles carried warheads with hundreds of kilograms of explosives. Cuba has once again faced a massive blackout. The unexpected power outage occurred late yesterday evening. More than 10 million people were left without power. The Ministry of Energy reported a total system failure. This is already the second such case in a week. The outage affected the entire national power grid. Previously, an electricity shortage had been predicted in the country. The situation is worsened by a fuel shortage. Supplies from abroad remain limited.